All right, guys, exciting times today. We're running errands. Welcome back, guys. My name is Andrew, and this is the Make It and Break It YouTube channel, where we try to make cool stuff with motors, typically, and then go do stupid stuff on them. So today we're trying to get as much paperwork ready to get the Project Ute 300C titled. So what I'm looking at doing here is I just walked out of the DMV, and I got something that's called a request for title inspection. And I'm going to get going here before I get a ticket for parking too long. But in any way, the great state of Washington, we'll turn off the air for a minute while we're running this. The great state of Washington does its best to make things hard on you. So here in Washington, what we got to do is you got to take your receipts to a licensing office, get a request for title inspection, which you can then take to the state patrol, who inspects your car to make sure none of the parts are stolen, essentially. And then you can take all of that stuff back to the title licensing place to make sure that, and then you get all your titles and you pay your crazy taxes and everything else that we have here in Washington. If you happen to live in the emissions testing area, you also have to get emissions tested during that process. So I just got my request for title inspection, but the lady who was helping me out, noticed that I didn't have the original form with me, and that I would need to go get the original with like ink on it, because that makes a difference somehow. So I, instead of going to the shop where I have my car and where it's currently not shifting out of neutral or out of park, which we'll explain if we get there today. Instead of going there to go troubleshoot that and put on some other stuff to make the car sort of livable, I'm going to have to go drive out to the auction site and get the original signed bill of sale. So that's going to be fun. All right, so I might have had to stop and get a beer or two and some wings, because I was hungry, and I've been up a long time today, and I deserved it because I'm awesome. Anyway, just got out of Copart. They managed to get us all the paperwork we need, so I probably won't get yelled at by the state patrol in a couple weeks when I finally do get to have my car inspected. So now, if I can ever get this thing open, heading back into the shop. I might have mentioned it earlier, but I've got a Chrysler 300C that won't shift out of park. So I was gonna have my shop put on the the tires on them. I got some new tires, just some random Amazon cheapo tires, onto the wheels yesterday. They called me up and said, hey, we can't get a shift out of park, including when we hit the override. So most cars will have an override, especially automatics, will have an override that even if batteries are dead, everything's broken, you can get it into neutral so that you can tow it somewhere, is the idea there. So what we're looking at is something called the pink thingy, is what I'm hoping it is. So yeah, we're gonna go back into the city, take a look at, I don't know why I closed this thing out. We're gonna go back into the city, take a look at our transmission, make sure it's behaving like we expect it to. I won't be able to fix it today, I don't think. And that'll probably be it for today. All right, so we made it to the garage. The keen-eyed observers of you, Mom, will notice that my shirt has changed. That is not because I necessarily practice good hygiene. It is, in fact, because it is about 6 days later. I did not make it to the garage. on the night I was running around, or the day I was running around, in fact, because I hit traffic and I ran out of time. Couldn't even get any of the parts I thought I was going to need. So instead, I went on a trip to Colorado. But I'm back now, and I think I have all the parts I need. And we're going to go see if we can't fix this stupid thing, so I can get tires on it so we can get through this inspection process. Anyway, so if you all ignore all the nice cars we've just been passing and take a look at our wonderful beast here, we'll get inside and I'll show you what we're dealing with. So, we go in and we take the car. Key's supposed to be on. Car starts. Sounds fine. You'll notice if I don't have the brake on, I can't shift into anything else. I can't move it. It's good. It's what it's supposed to do. I put the brake on with the car on. It shifts over, but it doesn't shift down. And if I go and try and pull the interlock down here, it doesn't want to come out. So that's indicative of the pink thingy problem, which is known as the shift interlock, and it's a pink plastic part that the Chrysler group put into these cars, and it breaks. So that's good and bad. Good because it's pretty easy to fix, bad because I have to pull all this crap out, and I don't want to do that this close to an inspection, but that's what we got to do. So that's what we're gonna go do here. I'm gonna turn this back off, and we'll get going here. All right, everyone. So we have just finished our disassembly of our shifter here. So we got our shifter pieces. This is our gear selector in here. There's a top fascia piece you'll see. This is kind of the shroud, and you kind of see here is the normal override that we're looking for when we do these. So this is what we do if like something was broken in the transmission, in like the gear selector and the transmission, you would hit this while trying to shift, and it would shift into neutral. And this piece right over here is the pink thingy. I'm not sure why they call it the pink thingy. Maybe you guys can figure it out. Anyway, notice this normally sits right in here, oriented like this. See how it kind of fits in there, right? And so there's tension pull on this side, and then right, spring. This one, the focus here, well here, spring. Hopefully this isn't terrible. This is supposed to. Here is here, and that'll go from in this way. So this thing here, if there's no tension this side, that out of the way, and you can chin on around. Pulls up. Shift. Pull this out here again. Got between this and the replacement. Look over the top of these things. You can see there's a piece missing. So that's a plastic piece that breaks on these things. So I'm not sure. There's a recall out for this transmission type for certain model years. I don't know if this one is one of those, but I do believe that most dealerships, if it's outside of recall, will charge you a couple $100 to make this repair. And we did this in the equivalent of about an afternoon's worth of work. You noticed on the time lapse that my shirt suddenly changed. That's because it's the next day. I'm having to do some of this work after my normal work hours instead of on the weekends like I like to do work normally. So to fix this, we take this thing, install it back in here like that, and we're going to take this spring, go from here to here with our needle noses, and then we'll put this thing back together and see if she actually shifts on us. So hopefully everything works out, and I'll see you guys after the next time lapse. Alright, so we're back in the car, and we're going to do our functional test. We put the shifter assembly back in. Everything should work. I had to disassemble it a couple times because I forgot to plug in some wires. So tip, when you're reassembling things, make sure everything goes back in. Otherwise, it might not work. Anyway, so first test was key on, and the shifter assembly doesn't move. If that beeping will stop, okay. Second test is brake on with the key on, and look, we get smooth shifts. So that's a good sign. Third test, just to validate, we have key on, and we're going to validate that the emergency interlock release works. So we're going to press this pink thing here, and we shift. So we did it. Car will now actually go into gear and drive, and we can continue on with the little bits and pieces we need to do to make this thing good for inspection, so I can actually get a title on it. So that's it for today. We fixed our transmission, so she'll actually shift. All we have left are some odds and ends. Maybe fix this door handle out here, put some gas shocks on this thing, on this hood, so it'll stay up when we're trying to work on it, and get her ready for an inspection. So if you like what we're doing, subscribe, like, comment below. Let me know how the audio works. Let me know how I'm doing, what you guys want to see. And if I actually get my act together, there'll be Amazon affiliate links down below for some of the items I did, and some of the items I used today, and some of the camera gear and mounts that I used to get some of these shots. So if I get my act together, those links are down below. If not, sorry, I'll try and get that to you guys in a future video. Yeah, so that's all we have, and I'm rambling a bunch. So yeah, still no sign off. Later. Oh God, I've been doing this whole thing without my microphone on.